Sticks, a place created by the paper industry, which thrived greatly until it didn't.
No one could have anticipated this happening.
The life was gone in the Magic City.
You call it the Magic City.
Yeah, because it grew out of the woods.
We keep hoping there's going to be big things on the other side of the gate there.
Did you work in the mill back in the day?
I did.
A lot better back then than it is now, but
The company owned all the real estate in this town.
Pay was superb.
They said, here's your $300,000. Do with it what you want.
This is a funky place. The bear with the bra.
This was a state-of-the-art paper machine.
I could feel this room just vibrating.
It's almost like a bit of, you're living in a socialist world.
Yeah, the company wanted you to have a place to recreate. You signed a 99-year lease.
It feels like I'm in the 80s right now.
Yeah. That's the joy of Millinocket.
Good morning, guys. Here we are going to a town in northern Maine, deep in the sticks, a place created by the paper industry, which thrived greatly until it didn't. In 2008, it shut down, closed its doors. Thousands of people left town, real estate plummeted, things changed. So today, we're meeting up with the guy who actually flipped the switch that one final time at the paper mill. Grew up here, his whole story's here, to get an inside look of what this far corner of America is like. Let's do this. This is the mill, Dick.
Yep, this is Great Northern Paper Company primary entrance when anybody that was going to work in the mill back in the early 1900s came through the doors over there on that side. This is Little Italy now that we are in. The housing here was all close together because everybody walked to work. As the mill was being built, this whole thing was a big hill. They dug this all out by hand with horses and carts and shovels.
So the Italians came over from 1898 to 1900, right? 1,500 of them.
Yep.
And there were only 2,000 people in the town at that time.
There wasn't even that many. I mean, I think the Italians were the first settlers in Millinocket because they were building the mill.
And I was reading they had to pay the fee to get over. They didn't have the money to come over, so they had to pay the paper company back.
Correct.
Did they pay in scrip in the beginning? You know, scrip company money?
No.
They never did that?
No. You were paid dollar bill.
There was no real economic differences, right? Everyone was sort of doing the same.
Well, you had Snob Hill.
Can we go there today?
Yeah.
Snob Hill? Okay.
As you can see, there's still I don't want to say the lower class, but they don't have the pride in their place anymore here. This house right here was made out of Great Northern Paper Company boxes and stuff. The whole building is made up of just chopped up into little pieces. They kept adding on as the family grew.
Okay.
So this is the end of Little Italy right here. And you notice the piles of stuff and everything. Nobody ever comes out here. Everybody goes the other way.
So the jobs left in 2008. What did everyone do for work?
They went to work elsewhere. You're traveling, you're on the interstate, to go to Bangor, work in areas. I worked construction after the mill closed. I traveled all over the state. And you can see people have now here started taking pride in their houses and making them look decent.
Did the company own all of this real estate?
The company owned all the real estate in this town. If you wanted to build a house here, the company would come over, they would dig the hole for you.
Okay.
They would have the forms to build the foundation. You paid for the cement, but the forms, the labor to put the forms in, dig the foundation, was done with Great Northern Paper Company, period.
So how did people get these homes now? How do they own them now?
5 companies in, they said, okay, you own the land, period. You have a house there, you own it.
So when the company left?
So the company left, it was deeded over.
So you got families being raised here? You got kids here now?
Oh yes, kids are still going to school here, and this is why Millinocket is so special, is you could raise your children and you knew they could not get into trouble, because if they did, the word in the mill, hey, I saw your son run a stoplight. You were caught, plain and simple.
Right, everyone was looking out for everyone.
Everyone was looking out for everybody else. And now we are physically in the mill property now.
You still get access here. Not too many guys have this gate control, do they?
No. The lake that you see here on the right is Ferguson Pond. Ferguson was the architect engineer that built Great Northern Paper Company. So this waterway was named after him.
So Maine, I don't know if it still is, it's known for paper, lumber. Is it still happening here in the state?
Yes. Madawaska has a paper company that's split between the United States and Canada. They are subsidized by the Canadian government to a point it's still operating. We suffered the consequence of being by ourselves. It took the life out of everybody in town when it happened.
You remember that exact moment when they told you guys?
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
Well, what was that like?
We couldn't believe it because we were told if we showed a profit for 2 months, they would keep us operating. We busted our tails to keep it operating and make it profit. Well, we showed a profit both months, and our second month was a really good profit. And then in September, they said, you're done. You're shut down.
What was the reasoning?
None.
Nothing.
Corporate said that they didn't feel that we could sustain that profitability. I think one of the biggest reasons, at the end of it, Fraser Paper, which is Madawaska, was overseeing our operation as well.
Okay.
So we were competing in the press rooms.
And Madawaska is a couple hours north of here.
Yeah, that is correct. We beat out Madawaska, hands down. We could make better paper than them and make a profit. That's the only logical reason we could think of that would shut us down and keep us down. So you'd come in here back, and it's musty smelling, so if that bothers you, we'll head right back out. Back in the day, we came through over here. Your time clock was right here, and you went out that door to the mill to go to work. This area over here was a sitting area. They used to have a fireplace going, and the workers would get here early. They would just all congregate in that area and wait for the time clock to reach time and punch your card, and off you went and went to work.
It was just 8 to 5 or 9 to 5?
No, 8 to 4, 4 to 12, and 12 to 8. 3 shifts.
Never stopped.
24/7, never stopped. You're standing in a place that from 1900 on, workers came through here to make paper.
Good memories doing that here?
Oh, absolutely. Absolute great memories doing that here.
Does it feel sad seeing it like this now, or
It does. This is the part that really hurts. You look at this wall and you say, my father could have touched this wall. My grandfather could have touched this wall. That's the part that you say, I wanted my children to be able to touch this wall. And it'll never happen anymore because it's gone. Our Katahdin is working at trying to get the building, get this whole site back to a spot of operation of some sort.
What, Katahdin, what is that?
Our Katahdin is just an organization that purchased the mill as a nonprofit, and they want to renovate this mill, make it useful again.
For what?
Don't know yet. Whatever will come in and work here. Any industry that we can get in here.
So you guys all understood each other well here because you're all on the same journey.
Correct.
I'm sure there was infighting with people. Some people didn't get along, but
there was bantering.
Bantering.
I don't want to say infighting, because you had a passion for something, you did it a certain way, and everybody else had a passion for something.
I mean, until the end, until the rug was pulled out from you guys, did it feel like a very stable life?
Oh, absolutely.
Like you knew what was happening?
You knew you could retire here.
Okay.
And when you retired, you could live the rest of your life in this community, talking about the good old days. The life was gone in the Magic City.
You call it the Magic City?
Yeah, because it grew out of the woods. Everybody had something to do in Millinocket. And you lived here until you passed away, and then you went over in the cemetery. All my ancestors are right there. So that's the beauty of this small town, is we are a family. Unfortunately, I think that it has become a point where now we're losing that family connection. You don't necessarily know who your neighbors are. When I sit on my front porch and watch the traffic go by, I don't know who that guy was. I don't know who that outfit was.
Who's moving in?
That's the point.
But why are people moving here? There's no work.
They're not moving here. They're recreating here.
Oh, okay. So
People are buying-
Katahdin is your biggest mountain in Maine, right?
Correct.
Up the road.
Yes. So people recreate here. It's becoming a recreation, a tourism point.
How was the pay here?
Pay was superb.
Your wife was what?
She was trained as a teacher. She graduated from college. Her first teaching job was down on the coast because the state would pay off your education loan if you worked in a depressed area for a period of time.
And the coast was depressed
And the
at
coast
the time.
was depressed at that time.
Oh, interesting.
So she worked there for 2 years, paid off her student loans, and then she got her job in Millinocket, which was one of the highest paid teaching positions in the state of Maine at the time.
Is that because the paper company was adding to the salary, or why?
The paper company was the majority taxpayer, and they didn't hesitate. If the school needed something, yeah, we'll supply it. You know, you need help with that? Okay, we'll send the workers over to help you with your boiler or with an issue you had at the school.
So at the time, you'd want to be a teacher here versus Portland or a coastal town.
Right.
That's interesting.
This is number 11 paper machine right here. This was a state-of-the-art paper machine. Machine ran at 3,800 feet per minute, 300 inches wide, 24/7. I don't know how this one will work for me, but for you, just put it on your head.
Okay.
And push the on button right there.
Okay.
It'll give you light.
And you just put that on the front?
Yeah. Yeah, just put it on your head like a headband. Yep. That'll light your way. Okay. So.
Oh, this is holy moly.
This is huge. Yeah. I can feel this room just vibrating with that machine running.
And so we're talking like computer paper, 8x11 paper.
Well, no. What this machine here made was super calendared, A-grade paper. So when you see something like that, well, walk around it. Because I can't guarantee what it's going to be like. So that machine started way down on the other end. Basically, if you followed this wall all the way down, where that wall stopped on there, that was the start of this machine. Overhead cranes here were 50-ton cranes. Couldn't pick up a roll of paper if you let it go too big. You're talking about a roll of paper that was over 50 tons. And then that would roll off, and that would roll down the rails to the winder, and then they would cut it up into smaller rolls for whatever the customer wanted.
If you could wave your magic wand, you wish you could bring it all back?
In a heartbeat. In a heartbeat. This was my life. Nothing on this machine I don't think I hadn't touched. Everywhere this machine, when we had a shutdown, I planned the shutdown, I would probably put 10 miles a day walking around this machine on a shutdown day. Just walking around the machine, checking on the crews, checking on the progress, because the machine wasn't making paper, you were losing money. If it was a 12-hour shutdown, I was here for 24 hours.
You loved your job?
I loved my job. I loved the people I worked with. That was, the job is a job. The people make the job. That's the big thing. And this family of people that were here, there was a control room right here. Mm-hmm. And one of the fellows that used to sit in this control room was a good friend of mine. He just passed away, but I still can see him sitting there. And one day when he called me in at 3 o'clock in the morning, you got to get in here. And I did. I no question, got up, in I came. Got the problem solved. He said, right there. I looked up and there's my name and my telephone number. He said, if this thing even coughs, that number is going on. And I said, not a problem. Keith, I said, Keith Bopane was his name, great guy, a little rough, a little gruff, but he would help you in a heartbeat. That's the way these people were. We were all a family of brothers and sisters that worked together, had one goal in mind: get paper off that machine.
Dick, I got a paper story for you.
Okay.
My book just went live.
Oh, yeah?
Published a book.
Did you?
So did paper that's in my book come from a place like this?
Chances are the paper that is printing your book was engineered in Millinocket, Maine.
Come on.
No. It was designed and engineered in Millinocket, Maine to create that condition for that style of paper. That's one of the things that they did here. Was Great Northern was the largest paper company in the United States at one time. We had our own research department, pulp and paper engineers that were designing grades of paper for different things, like a book, a magazine, a newspaper, the makeup of that piece of paper that's in your book,
Okay.
the type of wood that they used. All of that is a part of that.
All right. So for all of you guys, the book is now live. You can buy online, Barnes & Noble, Amazon.
Yeah,
And there's a little bit of the Millinocket story in that book.
correct.
QR scan here or link down below. Your Fellow Americans, that's what it's called, Dick.
Yeah,
It's about all of us.
okay.
Cool stories across this great country.
Yeah.
It's so big. This is why I have almost an endless amount of work. It's so big I can keep discovering.
Right.
And this part of Maine I knew nothing about.
Yeah. So this here is over the tracks, okay? This is where, as the mill grew and needed more workers, they kept building houses. Well, they ran out of space down in the valley, so they started coming up on the other side of the tracks.
Did it stay mostly Italian, or you guys started immigrating from all over?
This was all over now. Once the mill came into operation, this now became all over.
It feels like I'm in the 80s right now. And I mean this in a good
Yeah.
way. It's just simple living, it feels like.
That's the joy of Millinocket. It's
Yeah?
very quaint, calm, know your neighbors, you know what's going on, you do your best to say hi to the person walking by. When you walk out and you'll see your neighbor struggling, you don't just walk by with your nose in the air, you stop and help them. That's what makes this community so great.
Yeah, it feels like grandma's baking an apple pie right now as we speak. Right?
Yeah.
Doesn't it have that
Yeah.
feel?
Yeah.
Some
Yeah.
vanilla ice cream.
This is the oldest church in Millinocket. This church was built before that high school was built.
Oh, look at that beauty.
That's where I graduated.
Oh, that is cool. Still functioning?
No, it's a assisted living building now.
So that was part of the strategy with the company town, right? Make it really nice so people wanted to stay.
Yep.
Is this the legendary
This
Snob Hill?
This is Snob Hill. The high society lived up here. The doctors, the lawyers. This was the old Catholic school right here, now turned into a low-income apartments.
So these people are moving into these places
Yeah.
from out of town, or?
Some are. This is the old nun's home, which is now a thrift store.
Look at that block glass. I
Yeah.
love that
Yeah.
style. Okay, so these are the high rollers back in the day.
Yep. We all went to go trick-or-treating in Snob Hill because that's where the biggest amount of candy was.
So they got bigger lots.
Yeah, they had bigger lots, they had bigger houses.
This one's for sale.
Yep.
What do you think? How much?
I'd be willing to bet you it's going to be right around $500,000.
No way.
Yeah. Look, this one here is for sale. It just shows you that you can go in some areas of the town and it's operating, but
Yeah.
then you go other areas of the town. This house here was bought, look at it, it's turned into a shack house. And you go down 2 houses down and you got a beautiful house. Dr. Mason was a surgeon, brought here by Great Northern Paper Company.
Was everyone like you, so fired up on the company?
No, my father instilled in us that you need to have a positive attitude, whatever you do. And you never want to look at it from strictly your view, because your view can be tainted. So you got to look at the view from your side, other people's side, and then make an educated decision onto what's best for the community and
Okay.
for society.
What would be the argument against the paper company? What would people complain about?
Noise,
Okay, yeah, sure.
smell,
Air quality had to be bad, huh?
No, it wasn't bad. This was not a craft mill. The gases that you used could create a smell. We would create a smell. The cooking process to cook the chips would create a smell, yes.
Officially off Snob Hill back in the valley.
Yep, now we're going to go down Main Street. When we were kids, when I first got my driver's license, we just make the loop. And the loop was drive down Main Street, see what action was going on, and then up Katahdin Avenue, back down Main Street.
Coming out here, I thought it was going to be a little more run down, to be honest.
No,
Like a Rust Belt town type feel.
not necessarily.
There's a little bit of it.
It's a little bit of it, and,
but it's
and
not-
it started. I mean, see, like there's that
Right.
place there. I mean, it's spotty.
It's spotty. There you go. Right, and then you have this place right here.
Right. They take care of their place.
How to build community. Turn off your TV, leave your house,
Yeah.
know your neighbors, look up when you're walking, greet people, sit on your stoop, plant flowers, use your library.
Yep.
This is cute. It's nice.
It's a quaint little town.
It's how to come back with tourism. You see Yum Bake
Yep.
Shop, the
Fantastic.
Appalachian Trail Cafe.
Yep.
Because that goes by.
That has been here all along.
Okay, that's been here the whole time.
Changed the names a couple times.
It's spotty. Millinocket insurance agencies
closed.
had better days.
This one here was another insurance agency, closed.
Okay, insurance is not doing well here, huh? Got some vacancy, snack bar.
This gray building right here is probably the next one on the chopping block of being demoed. They've let it go so bad now that it's not worth fixing.
Oh yeah.
That used to be a coffee shop right there. We all went and get our coffee. That used to be a pharmacy.
Okay, so quite a few vacancies
Yep.
actually once you start
Yep.
cruising it.
This one here is just being renovated. They had some community development block grants for facade work. Like this one here was all redone.
From
This
the
one-
state or from the feds?
Well, it came from the state, and there used to be a bowling alley there, but it collapsed. They stopped using it, and the guy that bought it never heated it, and it collapsed.
So it's sort of just in flux right now.
Yeah. And then
Are
it
you
turned-
filling up this school? It seems like a pretty big school for out here.
when I graduated, there was 356,
Okay.
if I recall, in my class. The class that graduated this year, I think there was 35.
Oh, that's it.
That's it. It just shows you the comparison between back in the heyday and
Yeah.
now.
So for the kids, this is the place in the summer, right?
Yep, that's the pool. That's the new pool,
Home of the Minutemen.
home of the Minutemen.
So if you have a 35 student graduating class,
Yep.
your sports teams aren't really happening, are they?
We took the state championship this year in football.
Come on. No way.
Yep.
Why?
Because from the little age, little pro, right on up through, ingrained in football. Their parents get involved in football.
The Minutemen won state champs.
Yes, they did this
I
year.
mean, what did that do for town?
It's a big boost. The houses in town are just houses. They're just a structure. It's the people. The people are what really makes the difference. And if you have people that care about each other, then you have a great community to live in.
In here, you can just let your kids go wherever and do whatever.
And it's like four-wheeler down the side of the road. Nobody stops them. You can go down Main Street with your four-wheeler. This is the new development.
The new as in when?
1956.
Okay.
This was the new development, and it still has the name, the new development.
So these were company houses.
Now, these streets were all designed by Great Northern Paper Company for the employees. The employees wanted to build a house. They found a lot. The company would come up, bulldoze the opening for the foundation, put the forms up for the foundation, build the foundation, and then you built your house on that foundation.
You owned everything though, right?
You owned everything then.
Okay. By that time, by the 50s.
Yeah.
Okay, so a bit bigger. You can just see the evolution of homes in America, right?
Correct. A whole different environment here.
And these were massive at the time, but
Yeah.
now they look
But
almost
you look,
small, right?
The frontage, look at how much frontage here.
Yeah, this is like that quintessential 50s lifestyle, right?
Yes.
Okay, but what are these people doing for work right now? Because they look like they're doing pretty well, many of them.
Some are teachers, some are construction workers that travel to work.
They're traveling out of town.
They travel out of town. It's their family house. They grew up here.
Yeah.
Their parents passed away. They got the house. They want to live here. They want to raise their kids here, but they have to work out of town.
They'll sacrifice because they want this.
Right. This is called Pork Barrel Hill
Why is that?
because back when they were logging in the early days, they had a wagon load of supplies going into the camps, and one of them happened to be a barrel of pork. And the barrel of pork came off and rolled all the way down the hill.
Seriously.
So it's Pork
It's
Barrel.
stayed ever since.
It's Pork Barrel Hill. ATV trails are phenomenal here.
Okay, so
They're-
just out in these woods here.
Yep. The snowmobile trails in the wintertime are the best in the area. We are now at the campsites area. This is the dike. Guess who built it?
Let me guess.
Great Northern Paper Company.
Of course.
And the dike holds the water on that side.
Okay.
This is the same elevation as North Twin Dam, which fed the wood to the mill.
Okay, gotcha. And now it's a bunch of camps.
Well, this has always been camps around
Oh, nice. Look at this. Oh, look at the planes out there.
here. Yeah, there's a flying service. So you can
Fantastic.
fly in. Full disclosure, I am a pilot.
You got a little plane here?
I used to have a plane here. I sold it.
Okay.
Because college educations were more important.
Yeah. And these are all little cabins out here, little camps.
Yeah, we're going to go to my brother's camp.
Oh, cool.
Hopefully he's still here. And this used to be the dike store where when we were kids, my grandfather had an island over here, had a camp on the island, and we used to drive, take the boat, come down to the dock here, go over and go to the ice house and get a block of ice for the refrigerator. So every day we'd have to come get a block of ice.
That's
and
cool.
my grandfather would say, well, you want a candy bar? Yep, okay, we'd go over to get a candy bar. This is another place that has a lot of special meaning to me.
And so you're in town, the weekend comes, a lot of families have camps up here.
Yep. I don't think Rod's here. I don't see his vehicle.
Oh, this is cool.
Yeah, they're gone. So
Can we
shades
walk
are-
out there?
Yeah, oh yeah, absolutely. The shades are down, so.
How did he get it, not you?
He married into it.
Okay.
Her father had the camp, and her father, when he passed away, gave the camp over to her.
It feels, this is gonna sound wild, a little bit like Finland.
Yeah.
It's got some Alaska to it. It's got a little Upper Peninsula, Michigan.
Right.
It just feels far north. And so you just sit back, do some fishing,
Yep.
do some barbecuing.
That's what he's got the boat for. Take the boat out.
Cruise out on the lake.
And he'll take around the lake and anchor out and just drop a line and let it fish.
Yeah, this is really special out here.
He can do that. I can't. I have no patience. But yeah, this is their summer home. The company wanted you to have a place to recreate. They divided up the lots. You signed a 99-year lease.
Really?
Then those lots were yours for 99 years.
It's almost like a bit of, you're living in a socialist world, would
Yeah.
you say?
Yeah. But then when Great Northern got done, then they sold the lots. And now just a thought process.
Yep.
This lot right here, I think he said they paid $40,000 just for the land once the Great Northern said to lease it because it was waterfront property.
Right.
So he bought the land because if you didn't buy the land, you had to tear the camp down.
Okay.
So you were caught in a choke point because of that reason.
It reminds me of Ukraine, where my wife is from.
Yeah.
They have dachas, so the country home.
Mm-hmm.
And in Soviet times, they lived in the apartment blocks, usually in the city, and then a lot of families had dachas in the
Yeah.
countryside.
Yeah.
They grow their vegetables and
Right.
get away from it all. And so was the company actually giving these properties out to people? Like, how would you get one?
Yeah, you'd have to go in if you found a lot that didn't have a camp on it. You would go into the company and ask if you can get this lot. And if you work for the company, not a problem. Yep. Sign the paperwork, 99-year lease. Go.
99-year lease. I think that's,
Yep,
isn't that what China
Go
is?
build your. And today, because of the Land Use Act, you'd never be able to build this close to the water.
Oh, right. Yeah, guys, this is a special place. Summertime, so peaceful. Take a listen.
Rod's camp is a very basic camp. They wanted to keep it that way. That's his homemade pizza oven.
Oh, nice.
I found the stove and I said, "You want that?" He said, "Oh yeah." And then he put a top on it, makes homemade pizza.
All these camps are so cool.
They're all built basically with the logs and stuff that they had here and the stones.
Right,
You
so
know.
you could make this for very cheap.
These are the things that made Millinocket, again, so special.
I guess there's a bit of nostalgia. Okay, I didn't live in this world.
Yeah.
I can get it through you a little bit,
Yeah.
seeing you observe these places. But I think what's attractive is just the simplicity of it all.
Yeah.
And the pre-technology,
Yeah.
before the screens, and it's just simple things that I think most of us long for.
Right. It's the simple life.
The simple life.
Yeah.
Can you recreate it now, or it's just the time, the simplicity's gone, even now it's gone?
The cost has driven it out.
You can't do
You know,
it.
You can't do it. I mean,
Yeah.
I say you can't, you still can, but you really have to work at it. You have to have that desire to say, no, I'm going to saw that log with a handsaw.
You have to be very disciplined.
Yes. That's what we're losing today, is that ability. My brother has that ability. I have that ability to take that tree and make something out of it.
But your kids left town.
But the kids all left town. They're all computer geeks.
One's in Las Vegas.
Yeah. I've been taught them that desire to do it yourself, fix it yourself. They do, but they have to have the modern tools to do it.
I'm working all the time, so I'm hiring someone.
Yeah.
That's just the reality.
Yeah, exactly.
Things are always beautiful when looking back through the lens of nostalgia, right?
Yep, yep.
I'm a realist in that sense. I love the technology now that makes life so much easier in many
Yep.
ways.
And again,
But part of me does miss that old world, and I think
Right.
that's why I do these videos.
when I was that age, in the summertime, I took the lawnmower and I went house to house looking, can I mow your lawn?
Me the same. That's not happening at all these days in Millinocket. The little neighborhood kid knocking on doors, can I
No.
mow your lawn?
No.
Done.
No. Gone. Those are the times that you were taught to earn money. And if you earned money, you could afford these things, these toys, or this.
Right.
I enjoy this vehicle because I've earned it.
Yeah.
That's the bottom line. I've earned it.
If it was given to you, you wouldn't enjoy it.
Exactly.
100%.
And I
Or
take
you'd
care of
enjoy
it.
it for a day.
Right, and I take care of it.
Do you get a pension from the company, or if it went
Nope.
bankrupt, there's no
When
pension?
They divested the pensions to the employees. I had $300,000 of a pension. They said, okay, here's your $300,000. Do with it what you want. And I invested it. And I invested it wisely. A lot of people took it and spent it.
You just invest in like what, S&P 500 or something?
Yeah, the NASDAQ. I'm pretty heavy in the NASDAQ.
Okay.
But again, tech stocks. Because I worked in electronics in the mill. I said tech stocks are the way to put your money to have it grow. And it's done a great job for me. I'm financially stable. Therefore, I can afford this Toyota now. This porch this year, I'm putting all the windows in it.
Well, Dick, thanks for bringing me around.
Absolutely. This is my life.
Yeah, no,
In a
it's
nutshell.
it's tapping into a different America, and that's what I do. I try
Yeah.
to get in all different lifestyles and places.
Right.
This is a unique one.
Yeah. To having grown up and say that you went to a one-room schoolhouse, to being in charge of a paper mill as far as the electrical, to being in a community that has no industry other than tourism, which I don't necessarily am 100% positive for, because I don't think it pays the wages that industry does. I can't say I want one or the other. You need them both. People have to recreate, but people have to earn a living too. And you have to have a balance. If you don't have that balance, you're going to have just a community pass-through where people come to recreate and leave. And the people that are here, it's all low-paying jobs. If you get the price up too high, people aren't going to come. It's as simple as that. So you can't pay what that manufacturing job paid.
Yeah, makes sense. Dick, I'm gonna go wander downtown for a bit.
Yep.
It's been an honor, a pleasure.
Absolutely.
Thanks for bringing us into your world.
You don't hesitate. You're family now.
Oh, thank you.
So you come back. You know where to stop.
All right, Dick. Thank you. What's going on here in Millinocket? Lee Coat, excellence in all we do. Tea Party's making a comeback in Millinocket. Pokemon Senior Coffee Chat. It's cool to see it through Dick's eyes, right? Like go back to those times that weren't that long ago when everyone just walked up the road here around that bend where the paper mill was, on the same page because they're all sort of doing the same thing, making similar money, very safe, well connected, the camp. It sounds quite amazing. Now, as a realist, I know it's not my personality to go to the mill every day and work in the company town, but I totally get it. Like, it totally makes sense. The perceived security, right? It was very secure until it wasn't. But for those decades, you know, when people worked there, they didn't worry about, I don't think, I'm sure some did, but losing their jobs or being out in the streets or having to leave town or worrying about education for their kids. We have Living Innovations, but it looks like it's for sale. This place over here had more active days for sure. Yeah. Well, I'm glad I met with Dick because it doesn't seem like there's anyone else in town to meet with. This looks like a business that's active. Oh, here we go. Rebel Oil Company. You guys have an oil business?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
How are things?
Good, yeah.
They're happening.
Flowing.
Flowing, literally.
Yeah.
Oh, that's great.
This is the oldest company in Millinocket,
Right here,
period. 1901.
1901. Did you guys grow up here?
I did.
Okay.
She did from, what year?
44 years
We've been here
ago.
for 44 years. She has. I've been here my whole life. And
Are you as fired up as Dick about the company, the town?
We are. We keep hoping that there's going to be big things on the other side of the gate there.
What are they projecting? What's going to happen over there?
It's supposedly a salmon farm, but
Oh, Dick didn't tell me that. Okay.
yeah.
So there's something in the making.
Yes.
That's cool. Okay.
Yeah.
There's always something in the making. We're just hoping
Yeah.
someday it'll come to fruition.
Do you feel like the town can go one way or the other right now?
It's gone the other.
What's that? Tourism?
We've been in the tank.
In the tank. So
Okay.
it's only getting better. The
Yeah.
tourism's picked
Yeah.
up great, and
And a lot of people are working really hard
To make it work.
To make something happen here. So
It's a totally different Maine than the coast. I was at the coast this morning. Different
Yeah.
world.
oh yeah.
they're not as laid back as we are up here.
Because there's
Yeah.
nothing to be stressed about. It doesn't look
Well,
like.
no, you make your living. You do put your nose to the grindstone for as many hours a day as you can, and the rest is in the Lord's hands. as
That's
they say.
right.
Right. So good community still.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Safe.
People-
A
Just
lot of nice
older
people.
folks.
Older
It's
folks.
a lot of older folks.
The younger ones moving out.
They've gone.
Yeah.
They've gone.
They've gone. Some of them are coming back and buying places, working remotely. They love the outdoors. They want to be home.
Yeah,
So the
that's
workforce
happening, yeah.
could be there. I don't think you'll have a hard time convincing them to come back.
Okay, so you just need one big industry to
Yeah.
come in to provide the jobs, and then you think
Yeah.
That
Well,
would be
we're
great.
optimistic.
you're optimistic.
we are.
I love it. Look at this old beauty. Look at the story. The men cutting the trees down, dragging them away with horses. Mural painting by John Fewchamp. Logging in the Maine woods. So cool to see that at a post office, right? They still keep it. It really is such a hodgepodge here. And then we have a gallery sort of standing out. That smells so good. It's the smell of wood. How you doing? Are these all made locally?
We make everything locally here, yes.
No way.
From reclaimed wood
Okay.
that we recover from Quakish Lake that's been underwater for over 100 years. The majority of it is 4-foot pulpwood that was destined for the paper mill. We know the tree length was cut in 1899 because that's when they made a man-made lake where all of this sits.
So this
I
is-
do have a local carpenter.
You got a local carpenter doing this,
And
okay.
then our main product is our timber sheet product. So this is an 1/8 of an inch thick with
You know
3
what?
double-sided tape on the back.
I think I bought some of this.
Really?
Or a competitor of
Yeah,
yours.
there's a
I
couple
put that on a
competitors
wall of mine. That stuff's awesome.
out there. Well, I hope it was us.
Yeah, me too. I got it on Amazon.
We sell on Amazon. We have our.
I think it is you guys. I see the brand.
Okay.
Yes. So I put this on a wall. What one did I have? It was more like, it was this one. It was exactly this one.
Yep.
So I had a wall, and it was just sort of a boring room. And so it was like for an accent wall, just to give it some
Yeah. Yeah.
some
Just
texture and
change it up
color.
a little bit. Yeah.
You know, you sell the stuff.
Yep.
Now I'm selling it for you.
That's
so. But okay, so in this town, how does it? If you don't mind, I get it now. Like you can sell this outside of town, because I was like, how are you going to sell this table in town and make a living off that?
That's what this product is for.
Exactly. Okay,
Because
so
I
this.
can't ship that, so that it's really just people coming in off the streets, and the only time we get people off the streets is during the summer.
And these are second homeowners that are buying this stuff, right?
Yeah, I mean camp owners around here.
Camp owners.
Yeah.
Okay. You getting a lot of those people out here?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So they have a camp. They come up for the summer.
They're seasonal.
Seasonal. Okay. Did you grow up here?
Yeah, I did.
How was it?
Born and raised. It was a lot better back then than it is now. But I have a couple of kids, and I still, I want to be here.
Okay, so the mill went out in 08.
Mm-hmm.
You're not that old, so you saw that downturn.
I actually worked in the mill for a couple of years. I did accounting in the mill. I'm almost 40, so I look.
Oh, okay. Well, good for you. Okay, so you saw that whole transition.
I did.
Was
Yeah.
that rough?
Yeah, it was.
I was with Dick and Gotti
Yep,
today. You know Dick?
I do.
So he cruised me around the mill
Yep.
and told me about the history.
Okay.
And he was very much into the mill. Like it was everything.
It was.
He looks okay. So they have a real positive reputation then.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you're saying there's no replacement yet?
No, I mean, the mill brought in hundreds of jobs. We don't have anything that's replaced that here. We employ about 20 people
Yep.
here, and I think we're probably the 3rd or 4th biggest company in the area.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. My name's Jamie.
Jamie, and people, should they buy from you or Amazon?
Go for right to us, timbersheet.com.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you. I always like to promote small businesses doing cool things. How you doing, sir?
Good, how you doing?
Sir, you from Millinocket?
Yes, I am.
How are things going?
Good.
Yeah?
Yeah, well, for me it is.
You're an electrician? What are you
Yes,
doing?
I am.
Is your name Sparky?
Yes, it is.
It is?
No, it's Joe. Joe's Electric.
Okay.
Look right up here in the corner.
Okay. Did you work in the mill back in the day?
I did.
What was that like when it went out of business?
Well, I went to college at 48 years old.
Wow.
Yes, honest. And then I was lucky enough, they paid for everything because I was actually laid off worker, so the state paid for my schooling.
Okay, so you got laid off and you're like, okay, I got to come up with plan
It just
B, and
shut
you
down.
it shut down. Yeah, it shut down, and then you're like, plan B, I got to go to college.
Yeah, well, I had to do something. I was only 48 years old. So I had to do something, and I picked the electrical field, and so I did good. And, because I've been, doing well ever since.
That's awesome.
And it was paid for. They sent me to college, and then I got out, and I went to work, and ended up getting my license, which was hard. People don't know you're going to have schooling to be an electrician.
Yeah.
They don't realize that.
What's the name of your business? Joe's?
Joe's Electric.
But everyone knows you in town, don't they?
Oh, yeah.
Are you the only guy?
He's
Or-
well, it's three of us.
How's the town right now? What do you think?
Well, I don't know. I do a lot of work. Not a lot of stuff. A lot of stuff happening up the lakes.
The summer camps.
Yeah, a lot of
Okay.
stuff happening up
Yep.
there. In town too, though. I work for one fella. He owns both trailer parks here in East Millinocket, and got one
Okay.
in Pittsfield, Millinocket, and other trailer parks, along with all the houses he bought.
So some guy came in here, bought a ton of houses.
Well, yes, he did. He got an investment group that works with that.
Investment group.
Yeah, so, yeah.
What are they doing with them? You
So
know.
it's a bunch of guys that, got together and said, we think we're supposed to do something in Millinocket, Maine. And so they come up here and they bought a bunch of property. And they fix them up. And they house people. Or sell them.
Are people moving to town?
Well, not really. There's only so much, place to move in
That's
this
true.
town. They're not building. You're not building
Nothing new.
nothing. No, nothing new. Just trying to keep the old stuff up. That's what it is.
Are these the hikers that are hiking the Appalachian
I
Trail?
don't know that. I think
They look like
I think
hikers.
it might be.
But that's a thing here too, right?
Oh, yeah,
Big time. Okay.
Yes, it is. No,
All right.
there's a lot of things happening in Millinocket.
I love it, Joe.
Yeah, there is.
Peter Santenello.
Okay.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too, Bill.
All right, if anyone needs work, Joe's Electric.
No, I don't go.
You're good on work. Okay, never mind.
Do that though.
See you, Joe. All the best. All right, coming up to the end of commercial Millinocket. All these restaurants are closed. Saloon the same. Or maybe that's open. See fans in the window. See who we can find. How you doing? What's your name?
Yeah,
Andrew. You're the boss man here?
I guess something like that.
Peter.
Peter,
Yeah.
nice to meet you.
And you just saw me on the street like a weirdo talking to my
No,
camera,
I saw
right?
you walking down in the middle of Main Street holding this thing up, and then some van stopped you.
Joe's Electric.
And I was like, what is he doing? Like,
What? But the bigger question is, what's going on in here? This is a funky place.
Yeah, my father built this bar. He bought this building back in '88 and took 6 years. It was a condemned building and he rebuilt everything. This wasn't a bar before. Everything you see in here, this is my father's.
No way.
Yeah, love child.
Did he work in the mill?
When he first moved here, he moved here in '71.
Okay.
Yeah, a little bit after he got out of Vietnam. Moved here. He grew up in Plattsburgh. Moved here, fell in love with the town, and worked in the mill, I think maybe 6 months or something like
Okay.
that. But he's had multiple businesses here. He used to have a pizza shop, a couple other things till he finally opened this up in
Nice.
1994, and he's been open every day since.
Whose idea was all this? Your dad's?
Oh yeah, everything in this is my father's brainchild. It's
That's
just
so
a
cool.
collection of his eccentricity, I guess. That's one of the Indians, I think, from outside the old tobacco shops and stuff that you see. It's like solid mahogany.
Skates.
Yeah.
Canoe.
These are old town canoes. I think this was from the late 1800s. This over here was like the first electric cash register, I think around 1915.
The bear with the bra.
Yeah, actually a girl came in here the other night and said that's my bar from like 6 years ago. And that was the original cash register he used when he opened the bar up.
Oh, that's so cool.
The old National. We still have everything still, we're an analog stronghold in a digital world. There's
Nice.
No credit cards here. It's
Only cash.
yeah, old school register.
Right
you
on.
can't accept credit cards in that.
Loving it.
This is a sign my father had hanging outside, out in front of the building while he was building it. Coming soon, the Blue Ox Saloon. Free beer tomorrow.
So does this place get busy?
Yeah. Well, when the mill was here, it was employed over 5,000 people, so it was a way different town. Like when my father opened this up. When he opened up, there was 7 bars on this street.
How old are you?
I'll be 44 next month.
Okay, so you remember when the mill was happening here.
So I didn't grow up, I was born here, didn't grow up here. I come and visit my father and stuff. But yeah, back when he opened this in the 90s, there was a line out front of the door. Like you had a bouncer, you couldn't get in.
Wow.
The back room used to be opened up, but it's since.
And now you got an outdoor zone.
The old Gordon fisherman.
So even though the business is so much down because of the mill, your dad still wanted to keep it open.
Yeah, I'll never give up. He told me it was always since I was a kid. He said, "You never sell this place."
What's your take on the town right now where it's at, 2026? Where do you see it going?
I think everything comes in cycles. Right now, we're in that difficult transition. I think also the average age in this town is 60, so the predominant.
You serious?
So yeah, it's a much older generation. It's a generation of people that have held on that So I moved back here 2 years ago.
Okay.
To help my father. I'd say that the people that were in this town, at least from what I've witnessed, like from my father's perspective, is they never would have seen how the decline happened.
Mm-hmm.
And so you asked about the bar staying open, and my father would never, ever quit. This man,
Yeah.
two-tour Vietnam vet, like he would be here right now, but he ruptured some discs 2 months ago, just had back surgery, so he's been a bit out, but he's almost 80, and he's here 7 days a week. Like,
Okay.
always going. He's always believed in this town. At one point, he had purchased one of the buildings over here to put the museum here on downtown, but then they ended up rerouting and things happened. He still has the blueprints downstairs somewhere. I saw him the other day. But so this town, what I recognized in it is I feel like everything in this town was about the mill. This town started because of it. 1898, I think the mills started. 1901, The town was established, and it grew because of the mill. And so this entire town, when that all stopped, there's a grieving. You know, it's the loss of a dream, a loss of a life unlived. Because I think if you looked at this town from when the mills were open, no one could have anticipated this happening.
Right.
Like no one would have seen the way that the internet is, like, or just paper just disappeared. I mean, they made all at one point this was the largest paper mill in the world.
No way. I didn't even know that.
Yeah. Even though I see this sense of grief that's going through, this is a town of very resilient people. Some of the hardier Americans you're going to find.
Everyone I've talked to is super cool.
Yeah. And I think that there will be, you know, just like I was saying before, the cycles, like there's young energy coming in. They're redoing some areas downtown. Everything could always be better and faster. And I guess the goal is like, how do I, with taking on what my father has, continue and doing some of the things for this town that he wanted to see done. He always wanted trees planted down along this to have it really inviting. He was the first person to have a hand-carved sign, just to make it like really quaint. Like he had a lot of ideas that were really beautiful for this town, and there's definitely some big shoes to fill. But like I see a revival here, and he's given me this landmark to be a part of that. And
you gonna stay?
Yeah. There's something magical about this place. I mean, Mount Katahdin, it's the first place in North America during this time of year to get light.
Oh,
like right
really?
there at the peak. Yeah.
No way. And know what I love is just the buffer zone. Because to get here, it takes a long time. There's no way around that.
Yeah.
There's not like a big town next door. Not a big town over there.
I mean,
You're out there.
It's the gateway to the Northern Woods.
It even goes more, huh?
Yes, it's the Northern Woods.
Cool.
Yeah, it's cool.
Well, keep it up, bro.
Yeah.
And I'm going to send people your way. Blue Ox Saloon.
I appreciate it.
For a good cold one?
Yeah.
You make good mixed drinks too, or?
Yeah.
The full Monty.
He's been hiking already.
This guy, how many days you been hiking?
We did 5, so not that long.
You can start here and end in Georgia, right?
Yeah, Springer Mountain.
That's what you guys are gonna do?
That's what we're gonna do.
How long?
5 months, November 22nd. Yeah.
How you feeling about it?
Yeah. Excitement.
Can't do nothing now but do it. Plan for it, so we just gotta...
That's wild. 5 months.
Yeah.
In a tent with a backpack.
Yeah, you go through towns, like stay in some places like this.
What do you guys think of this place?
Pretty sweet. Yeah.
Millinocket?
You're sleeping in that bus over there?
Yeah.
What's this bus?
It's they made like a bus for like people that have dogs or something like that. It's really
Oh,
cool.
nice.
You wanna, like look inside of it, I guess.
Oh yeah, let's check it out.
I have my dog, so she can't stay in the community bunk. So they gave us this little private bus to stay in for 2 nights.
This is for you and your dog?
Yeah.
Nice.
You and the pup.
This is sweet. Can I go in?
Yeah, for sure.
All right. This is cool. All set up well.
Yeah, it's my crib.
Yeah, dude.
It's your crib?
Yeah,
Van life.
It's where the magic happens, you know? Like. So we're best friends from St. Louis, Missouri. Like, we went to high school together there.
Oh, nice.
Now we live different places. Like he lives in North Carolina now, and I live in Maryland. So we met at one time to go cabin camping in Shenandoah, and then we were like, let's just do the AT, just commit to it.
That's a bold commitment.
Yeah.
Your work is cool with it, or you just have to change jobs?
My work's cool with it.
My work gave me a 6-month sabbatical to go and come back.
What do you hope to accomplish out of that, or like what do you think you'll get out of it?
Peace. I mean, like, you know, we always get, with going with work and everything, we get caught up in our routine and everything. It'd be nice to kind of like disconnect, get away from like the news, be out in nature, be like present in like every day.
Yeah. I work on software development, so I'm always on the computer. Just like disconnect for a while, probably break down, and then hopefully build back stronger.
And that's Millinocket. Interesting past, unknown future, great people we met today. I like this town. It's been a short time here, but there's just something about its simplicity and its story. And it'll be interesting to come back in 10 years or so to see where it goes. This is part of a greater Maine series. I have other videos from the state, shooting one more. There'll be 5 in total. And then the book is now live. Got that link down here, around here. For most people in the country, you can order it now and get it tomorrow. Your fellow Americans. Thanks for coming along on that journey. Until the next one.